Pop, 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 pop.
And now it's working.
All right, so.
Okay, hold on. Bring it back in. Good.
All right, so you just got a first example of what live means in our business. This is Newsroom Live. I'm Arthur Chan from Fox 5. You're looking at our newsroom on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, including the bullpen area. If you haven't been briefed on how this works, this is where all of our super capable editorial minds are. Everybody ranging from writers to producers, and the web team as well, which is running this show here. And then on the far side is our assignment desk, which is the difference between that side of the room and this side of the room. That side of the room is in charge of logistics. So anytime something happens, they have to figure out who's where, who can get there, and do we have the resources to do it, to get what we need. And speaking on what's happening, what's where, we are standing by for what will be probably the most closely watched development this morning. And let's go to, oh, we're on that right now. So you're looking outside the White House. President Donald Trump is hosting Bahrain's Crown Prince at the White House. The meeting comes with a couple of announcements. So a lot of times advanced teams will meet, and so we know what's going, or at least the leaders know that something good will come out of the meeting that they can tout when they come out. And in this case, the country that Trump recently visited has signed an agreement that will pave the way for what's being called a formal civilian nuclear cooperation deal, as the administration ramps up efforts to enhance global energy security. So this is about security, and obviously the key word here is civilian nuclear cooperation, since other countries around the world have gained the ability to produce nuclear power, and sometimes that's led to unintended consequences. So that's one part of this meeting to keep an eye on. The other part is the announcement that Reuters are reporting, and others, that they are going to announce a $17 billion investment by Bahrain in the United States. As part of that investment, Bahrain is expected to sign a deal between Gulf Air and Boeing, which opens a new avenue for investment and development. I think this deal in itself is worth about $7 billion. And the first wave of it will be 12 aircraft with an option for 6 more. Worth pointing out that as part of the tariffs that President Trump rolled out earlier this year, Bahrain was hit with 10% tariffs. That was the baseline rate, if we recall correctly. And so we'll see after this meeting if there's enough cooperation to take Bahrain off the list. President Trump has said they're in constant negotiations with a number of countries. But it's also worth mentioning while we talk about this, August 1st is the deadline for some hefty tariffs to go in against Mexico and for the European Union as well. So that's where things are headed globally. What we do while we wait for the president and the Crown Prince to come out, let's go over to some of the other news that's happening right now. And let's go over to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who is testifying before Congress. This is something, if you don't own an aircraft but actually ride aircrafts, is something that you probably are have more of an interest in. Basically, before we go to him here, we just want to point out that there has been a crisis in the skies in terms of the lack of air traffic controllers and what that is doing. Most notably, that in-air collision between a U.S. Army helicopter and American Airlines flight that killed at least 66, 67 people. He is asking for what is essentially more than double the budget that was approved in order to get the air traffic controller program back to where it needs to be. Let's take a listen in if we can.
Government must function in a timely manner to truly benefit the American people. To this end, Allegiant and Viva Bus Aerobus joint venture is a great example of this, and their application's been pending for 3.5 years by DOT. The previous administration neglected it, and we just want to make sure that the alliance application for Allegiant and Viva, while allowing legacy carriers, Delta has it. Delta has a deal down with Aeromexico. We need to do this for Allegiant and allow people to travel to the islands low carrier people. We got to do this. I need a commitment from you that we'll look into this. It's
So
your signature.
I had a brief on this very issue.
Yeah.
6 weeks of 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I will look at it again, and let's stay in close
I want to talk to you.
coordination
Maybe
on
I'll see you in Oshkosh next
that.
week.
I would welcome that.
Thanks.
I'll be there.
Mr. Desaulnier.
Thank you. I appreciate following Mr. Nels, who I have the privilege of working on implementation on FAA. So I think I'm going to be on the list like Ms. Wilson, where I'm going to come see you if you will have me come.
If you go to Oshkosh, we could do it there too with
We can go with Troy. I just won't wear his footwear. And I want to congratulate you on Hannah being behind you, and what a great hire that is.
He's been fantastic.
Some things, first of all, I'll do my own district issue. We have a mega grant that I've worked on since we both had dark hair. It's $166 million. It's in the 680 corridor. Major business presence, Chevron, Safeway, AT&T. We work closely with the business community, so I'd like to follow up with you and see where that is. And I have had a bipartisan frustration with multiple departments in Region 9 over so project delivery, I'd love to work with you on that. Getting a project like that out that's been multiple RTPs to get it done that we have consensus on.
I will take a look at that and get back to you on where we're at, and I'm sure Hannah will help with that too.
Okay. We always go to the staff first. We're always in charge.
It's our secret.
I'd like to talk to you about something that we disagree on, but I'd like to do it more in a conversational way. As someone who's been very involved in air quality in California, I've served under Republican governors and Democratic governors on the California Air Resources Board, and the ability to have choice. I was fortunate enough to get the Clean Corridor bill in and passed with billions of dollars for charging stations. And I don't know if you saw the New York Times story recently about the Chinese and BYD. It's a heavily subsidized car company, but we've got to have choices. And regardless of what your feeling is about climate change, there's a market for choices, but they've got to have the infrastructure. So the Chinese now have 3 million, I think, Chinese charging stations. They're closing in on Toyota in terms of capacity. They're dominating the Asian market. How do we work in a way that gives consumers choices? And even though I have a very heavy fossil fuel presence in my district, 5 refineries, Chevron, you wouldn't be surprised in the Bay Area, people are early adapters. So how do we work on this in a way that's agnostic in terms of, as strongly as I believe in climate change, from an economic competitiveness, we're losing the competitiveness in this market to the Chinese?
Well, I like the form of your question. I do believe in competitiveness too, and I believe in personal choice. I don't think this body or the DOT should try to force people to buy things they don't want. And so in northern Wisconsin, EVs don't work so well.
All right, we're going to switch gears right now. Secretary Sean Duffy, just to sum up, is asking for $16 billion more on top of the $12.5 billion that was allotted to his agency in order to try to address the air traffic controller situation in the U.S. Now we are looking at President Donald Trump coming out of the White House after the meeting with the Crown Prince of Bahrain that we have been telling you about. They are going to, or we are expecting them at some point to come to the microphones and talk about how their meeting went. But again, an investment, a $17 billion investment in the U.S. is what is on the table that we expect to come through, as well as some other pieces to that deal and cooperation. Trump has been courting a lot of Arab states. He recently took a trip there, and later on tonight he is going to have dinner with the Prime Minister of Qatar. That is the country that gifted President Trump an aircraft. Also, while we sum up President Trump news today, he will be signing a Louisiana senator's fentanyl bill into law. And also earlier today, he continued to slam his own supporters as he tries to distance himself from the Epstein controversy. Let's get ready to switch back over to Sean Duffy now. In addition to that $12.5 billion over 5 years that Congress had initially approved, he is asking for an additional $19 billion to overhaul the aging U.S. air traffic control system. That would put the total at 31.5 billion, he says. And he says that he's also calling for a funding plan that's backed by airlines and other aviation groups. Not only do we have catastrophic examples of the need to address this in the January collision of a U.S. Army helicopter and a regional American Airlines flight that killed 67 people, but we've also, here in our region, seen a lot of problems. In the state of New Jersey, for instance, Newark Airport, which is one of the 3 busiest airports in New York City, obviously, experienced weeks and weeks of unbelievable problems, unprecedented, we have to say. We've never seen anything like it. Delays regularly of up to 4 or 5 hours, and that's if your flight wasn't canceled altogether. And perhaps the secretary himself didn't need to be convinced about how bad it was, because at one point he made public that he rerouted his wife's flight. She was supposed to fly in Newark, and while this was happening, the Secretary of Transportation said no thanks and routed his wife through either LaGuardia or JFK, which was an interesting statement by the Secretary on how the Newark Airport was doing, which he is in charge of, right? He's also been a harsh critic of the New York City subway system and of congestion pricing. Although the feds do not provide the money for the existence of congestion pricing, they have been trying to cut it. So that's the context of it. Let's hear what he is talking about now.
Modernizing air traffic control?
Listen, it's critical. Again, a lot of the towers and TRACONs and the centers are becoming dilapidated. And it's our job to actually rebuild them and make them worthy of the greatest country on earth. And therefore, the equipment we put in is also the best in the world.
Our air safety is a gold standard.
Gold standard.
Yeah. I hope this Congress can provide the necessary financial investments to make modernization a reality. Additionally, we need to provide your agency with the flexibility it requires so that towers like Duluth, which is locally owned but FAA operated, are not left behind in your mission to modernize. And I would ask that you would take that into consideration, and this body as well.
100%.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your great work.
Mr. Carbajal, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for coming here today, Secretary Duffy. I want to extend my gratitude to you and your team for being responsive on my staff's inquiries, my personal inquiries regarding some grant issues in the Goleta and San Ynez areas of my district. While the grants haven't been released, I just want to say I find it very refreshing of the professionalism and the responsiveness of your staff. So I wanted to give you those kudos. Secretary, while we all support infrastructure, we can do more to bring the cost of these projects down as we draft our next highway bill. I'm familiar with recycled asphalt pavement, RAP, and understand that RAP accounts for over 90 million tons of pavement material. This is the most recycled product in the country, yet many state DOTs lag well below the national average of 20% of their mixes using RAP. I find this odd given RAP brings costs down by using less virgin material, reduces truck traffic, minimizes air emissions, and keeps usable material out of the landfill, while still delivering a superior quality construction material. Can you commit to working with me and our state DOT partners on how we can better educate and incentivize state DOTs to use RAP pavements where appropriate and in their local projects?
100%, I'd welcome that partnership.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, for decades, the federal government has required commercial service airports to use Florentine firefighting foam containing PFAS. The FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024 included my bill, the PFAS Act, and established a new grant program to support airports in transitioning to fluorine-free alternatives. Assuming we get our act together in Congress through appropriations and appropriate the necessary funds, is there an implementation plan in place to facilitate this transition? And two, in the interim, what guidance and assistance is being provided to airports regarding the transition and use of PFAS-free foams?
So I would tell you that do we have an implementation plan yet? We're actually working on a lot of the grants coming out the door in ATC modernization. But as money comes, we will develop a plan, would welcome consultation with you, the author, But again, this is an important issue to make sure we take toxins out of our communities.
Thank you. As we discuss air traffic modernization, can you share how the department is working with the FAA to ensure these efforts are forward-looking and structured to incorporate continuous process improvements over time, rather than looking into outdated systems? And can we touch on the efforts to ensure the system is sufficiently staffed?
So can I just, if I can have a moment of personal privilege, yes. Telecom is telecom, fiber is fiber. There's great radar that we're going to be able to, that we have to build them. It's a big deployment. Those are known quantities and entities. The Common Automation Platform, the software that's going to run air traffic control, we're using one system from 1995 and another from 2000. We don't have an off-the-shelf product. That's the software, the heart of the brand new system. That's going to take us time to get companies to come in and offer us what they think the product should be and try to sell us their product. So, and we don't have money in the big, beautiful bill for this part of it, but this is the critical part of the infrastructure. I want to get that started because, again, it's going to take us, 6-8 months to pick a company, and then we're going to have to debug it. That could be another 6, 8, 10 months to debug it before it's deployed. So this is the most amount of time it's going to take to get the system right. But it's like you're on your computer, you're using Microsoft 95 versus what's available today. It's like there's so much better technology, and this is the heart of making the system more efficient and safer. And I hope that the Congress will give us the resources to begin that process.
Thank you, Secretary. And again, kudos to your team for being so responsive.
Thank you. And it will be brand new, and it will be state of the art. I promise you that.
3 minutes is not 5 minutes. Mr. Mann,
That's my fault.
tailor your remarks. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here today, and thank you for all that you're doing for transportation in Kansas and around the country. It's a tremendous undertaking, and you're doing a great job. I represent 60 primarily rural counties throughout central and western Kansas, and every day in the big 1st District of Kansas, my constituents witness the importance of having reliable transportation infrastructure. It's imperative that our highways and roads are drivable, that commercial and cargo aviation are able to efficiently operate, that our railroads are able to deliver goods and grain out of the elevator and into markets. And I appreciate hearing from you today on ways that we can address real transportation infrastructure problems that everyday citizens in Kansas and around the country are facing. I know that the administration under your and President Trump's leadership will lead the way in fixing problems of the past, and look forward to working with you on making the transportation system great again. A couple of quick questions. We've seen how past modernization efforts like NextGen struggled with delays and cost overruns. I understand you're taking a different approach this time, particularly when it comes to procurement and delivery. Can you walk us through what's changed and what Congress should be considering when it comes to accountability and future funding to support that approach while also ensuring continued access for business aviation?
As President Trump is about to start speaking, he's with Bahrain's Crown Prince. And let's just go straight in, hear what they have to say.
You all set to go? Well, it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister and the Crown Prince of Bahrain. That's a fancy 2 titles, I want to say. I don't know if I'd rather be the Prime Minister or the Crown Prince. I think I'd take the Crown Prince. And very importantly, your son, your beautiful son, who has a great reputation, you know that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Great reputation as a smart, hardworking guy, so it's good to say hello to you. Congratulations. We've had a tremendous relationship, I have personally, with Bahrain over the years, and has been a fantastic ally. And anything they needed, we helped them, and anything we needed, they helped us. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including the most perfect military maneuver that anybody's seen probably in 50 years, which took place a few weeks ago in Iran, knocked out their entire potential nuclear.
Well, I think just free markets.
It was obliterated. You know, I used that term. They said, well, maybe that's too much. I said, no, it turned out it was more than obliterated. They can't go back. And we're just really going to talk about some things, including trade. We're going to be discussing trade. We do a lot of trading with Bahrain. And we're going to have lunch after this, but we'll take some questions. At first, I'd like to ask the Crown Prince to say a couple of words. And he also has a father who's living and well and doing fantastically, as I understand it.
He is.
And somebody who's respected all over the Middle East and all over the world. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, one and all. It is indeed a great honor to be here on this fine morning to put into action the relationship that exists between our two countries. We will be discussing security issues, we'll be discussing trade and investment, which is very important. We're very happy to be announcing $17 billion worth of deals that are coming to the United States, and this is real. This isn't.
It's real money.
These aren't fake deals. These are real deals.
They don't have to borrow the money.
We don't have to borrow it. It's coming in, and it only builds upon a legacy that we're very proud of. We have had a relationship in the civil side between our two countries since 1893, and formally since 1948. So may it long continue, and we look forward to many, many more years of productive partnership. Thank you, Mr. President.
We will have
You
that.
honor us.
We will have that indeed. We'll have many good years, and I'd say right now is your top year, and we appreciate the investment. It's a great. We left, as you know, Saudi Arabia. We were just there in Saudi Arabia, and Qatar was so great. Leaders great. We had UAE, and we had a couple of other visits, but all great places, and we left with $5.1 trillion of investment, and they all want to be investing in the United States now. We have, I think we have over $16 trillion of investment coming in, which is a record, and we're only a little bit into the year. And let's say the first 2 months I sort of took it easy because we had to fix up the Oval Office. I had to devote my time to fixing it up, but no, we had to fix up our country. So we have, I think everyone is saying we have the hottest country now anywhere in the world. We were dead a year ago. We are a dead country. And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And it's a great honor to have you here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Any questions?
On the developments in Syria at the moment.
Well, I can comment. I think I'll ask Marco to say a few words on Syria.
Yeah, it's complicated, obviously. These are historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the southwest of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track in helping Syria build a country and arriving at a situation there in the Middle East is far more stable. So in the next few hours, we hope to see some real progress to end what you've been seeing over the last couple hours.
Mr. President, Jerome Powell, do you have plans, or if you're back considering firing Jerome Powell, and what's your justification if you're thinking about this to do this?
Too late. He's always been too late, hence his nickname, Too Late. He should have cut interest rates a long time ago. Europe has cut them 10 times in the short period of time, and we cut them none. The only time he cut them was just before the election to try and help Kamala or Biden, whoever the hell it was, because nobody really knew. Obviously, that didn't work, but he tried to cut them for the Democrats, Kamala. And how did that work out? You'll tell me. It didn't work out too well, did it? But I think he does a terrible job. He's costing us a lot of money. And we fight through it. It's almost, the country's become so successful that it doesn't have a big impact, but it does hurt people wanting to get a mortgage. People want to buy a house. He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him, but they did. So, no, we're not planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's doing a little renovation for $2.5 billion of the Fed, building a renovation, and they have a close to $900 million cost overrun, and it's a shame. But the biggest cost overrun is the cost overrun for interest rates, because we should be paying 3 points lower, and we would save $1 trillion a year in interest if that were the case. And all it is the stroke of a pen. And that goes for his board too, because his board is not doing the job, because they should try and rein this guy in. So he's doing a lousy job, but no, I'm not talking about that. We get Fortunately, we get to make a change in the next, 8 months or so. And we'll pick somebody that's good, and we'll pick somebody. I just want a fair job. We want to see lower interest rates. Our country deserves it. We're making a lot of money. We're doing great as a country. We have no inflation, record stock market, record business, record everything. Everything's a record now. We had the worst inflation in history under Biden, and now we have almost no inflation. We've done a great job, and we should have the interest rates cut.
So you were saying the other day that Scott Bessent, you're so happy with him at Treasury that, he's not your top option to replace Jerome Powell whenever that may be, whenever you decide what you want to do with him.
Scott's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with Scott.
Is Kevin Hassett on the top of your list?
Kevin's somebody would consider. Kevin is fantastic, too. We have a lot of good people for that job. It's not a tough job, to be honest. Assuming you're smart, it's not a tough job. If you're a dummy, then I guess it's a tough job. But it might be one of the easiest jobs I've ever seen. And now on top of it, he's building a close to $3 billion little nest egg for himself. He's not doing the right job. We should be saving $1 trillion a year in interest. When he talks about cost, we should be saving. Think of it, $1 trillion a year. Add that with the tariffs and everything else. But he just doesn't want. He's a knucklehead. But we'll see how that. We'll see how he's listening to this. That's a strange conversation. But we like to say it like it is. But we have a lot of people that want that job very badly, and I'm only interested in low-interest people, frankly, because you don't need. I know. So they had the 71 different economists and people experts that they picked about a month ago. I was the only one, along with one person from maybe the Wharton School of Finance. The two of us got it right. 69 people, including Powell, got it wrong. And he wants to hire thousands of new people to help him decide where we're going in the future. It only takes one good mind. It doesn't take 5,000 good minds. So they're expanding the Fed. It's the dumbest thing I've heard of. But it's very autonomous.
Just to follow up on that, sir, are you completely ruling out the idea of firing Jerome Powell?
I don't rule out anything, but I think it's highly unlikely unless he has to leave for fraud. I mean, it's possible there's fraud involved with the $2.7 billion renovation. This is a renovation. How do you spend $2.7 billion? And he didn't have proper clearance, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going on. So there could be something to that, but I think he's not doing a good job. He's got a very easy job to do. You know what he has to do? Lower interest rates.
You've been listening live to President Donald Trump in his meet and greet with the press as he meets with the Crown Prince of Bahrain. A lot of the questions turning to really the U.S. economy. People want to know where interest rates are going and how their purse is doing. That does it for us right now. Thanks for watching Newsroom Live. I'm Martin Kim from Fox 5. If you're watching on Fox Local, stay on there. Bianca Peters is getting in the seat right now, and that's going to start in just a matter of seconds. If you're watching on YouTube, you can keep track of all the day's events, not just here locally, but also across the country and internationally.
But during the conversation, when we were talking about it, I asked, what would you do about that? They all said we'd fire him.
Mr. President, thank you for taking the question, sir. You were in Pennsylvania yesterday. You unveiled $92 billion worth of investments. One of those jumped out, though, $15 billion in Homer City to build the largest natural gas power plant ever. I was at the rally where you told Homer City residents that you would not forget them when the biggest coal plant in Pennsylvania closed down. You delivered for them yesterday. What message do you have to those residents?
Well, I'm happy. Homer City. I was there, and I said, I'm going to produce something, I don't know what, because they had shut down this massive coal plant, one of the biggest in the country. And it was just purchased by the gentleman that you met yesterday, a very substantial man. I don't know if he's maybe not as substantial as you, I'm not sure. But he's pretty substantial. You know who I'm talking about. And they're going to spend billions of dollars on rebuilding it, and it's going to be the largest plant of its kind in the world, I believe, actually in the world, and it's going to be great. So we really fulfilled that promise to Homer City. but it's to Pennsylvania, basically. I won Pennsylvania, and very conclusively won Pennsylvania, so I owe them a big debt of gratitude, but thank you for bringing that up. We raised 92, it's actually going over 100, so it'll be over $100 billion to be invested in Pennsylvania. It was Pennsylvania Energy Project, so we had, everybody was there. Larry Fink was there, I mean, everybody was there, and done a great job. The senator did a great job, and we were very proud. That was a great meeting yesterday. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, actually for each of you, so for the Crown Prince, are you planning on taking any of the Patriot missiles that you're going to receive from the United States and divert those to help Ukraine?
We have no current plans, as we have an operational requirement inside Bahrain to keep them there for the present time. At least.
He's got plenty of them, too.
And Mr. President, on the fentanyl bill,
They're wonderful. They're wonderful pieces of kit.
They work very well.
American technology is the best.
Yep.
and on the fentanyl bill that you're
That's
signing.
maybe the most important part of this. He has his choice of everything, and we make the best military equipment by far in the
Bar
world.
none.
There's nothing close, right?
Bar none.
Yeah, thank you.
And on the fentanyl bill that you're signing today, do you hope that that's going to restart law enforcement cooperation with China on getting the fentanyl?
Yeah, I think China's been helping out. I mean, it's been a terrible situation for many years with fentanyl, but since I came here, we're talking to them, and they're making big steps. They're also, as you know, being penalized. You know that, right? They're being penalized with tariffs because of the fentanyl, but they want to do something. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Mr. President. An American from Tampa was beaten to death. He was killed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank. His family has been calling on you to help prosecute his killers. Are you going to do that? An American from Tampa?
Yeah, your first sentence is really, go ahead.
Okay, an American citizen from Tampa, Florida, has been killed in the West Bank. His family has been asking on you to prosecute him. Are you going to help finding his
Yeah, well, so first of all, have you seen yesterday, Ambassador Huckabee has asked the Israelis to conduct an investigation. We want to get all the information about who was involved. We protect all American citizens anywhere in the world, especially if they're unjustly murdered or killed. So we're gathering more information, but I hope you saw yesterday Ambassador Huckabee in Israel asked the Israeli authorities to produce an investigation and concrete information about who was responsible for his murder.
They're reporting that tomorrow. We have a meeting on it. They're going to be reporting that to me.
Can I ask the Crown Prince a
Yeah.
question, please? Do you think that the Gulf area now is more secure, and do you believe that a negotiation with Iran is necessary at this stage?
Well, I definitely believe that the volatility of the situation has been reduced. And we didn't know where it was going to go on the Sunday. We were very glad when we found out on the Monday. Let me put it that way. And should the Iranians want to negotiate, I believe the ball's in their court. That is the true reality of where we stand today. They are the ones that stand to benefit from a negotiation.
And they do. They want to negotiate. They want to negotiate badly. We're in no rush because, we said we could have made a deal. They should have made a deal. And then we bombed the hell out of their various places. We're in no rush, but if they want to negotiate, we're here. Yeah.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you
No,
seen
it's
of
not
that?
the Attorney General, no. I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman, yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including in the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, there's lots of reports coming into this meeting that you planned on firing Fed Chair Jay Powell. Markets
Is that
reacted.
right? Those are reports, but they're not true.
So what would be useful to know, are you committed to picking someone from the outside? Are you going to interview individuals that are
So
on the
many
board
people
right
that
now?
want that job. I have people that I've known a long time, they're calling me, begging for the job. You know what you need there? A smart person with common sense, but you need a very smart person for that job. I think it's one of the easiest jobs in government. You show up once a month and you make a statement about where the economy's going, and we're going to raise or lower interest rates. It's probably the easiest job I've ever seen. That's why I'm trying to figure, why does he want to expand and add more people? He's going to add more economists to tell him what to do, but the economists, I was right, all the economists were wrong. They admitted it. They admitted it this morning. Quiet. Go ahead.
Mr. President, you mentioned fraud in an earlier answer. Are you saying you want to investigate the Fed chair for fraud related to this renovation?
Well, I think he's already under investigation. He spent far more money than he was supposed to on rebuilding. I didn't see him as being the kind of guy that would want to have parks, rooftop parks and everything else on top of buildings, but who wants to spend that money for the Fed? The Fed is supposed to sit there and say where interest rates are going and a couple of other very easy things to do. And he spent $2.5 billion. I think he's got some problems.
Thank you, sir. You also reported a monthly surplus in the month of June, $27
billion.
A ton of money. With these new tariff rates coming into effect on August 1st, we're going to be bringing in even more tariff revenue specifically. How much revenue do you think we can consistently bring in from these tariffs, and how big of a game changer is this, not only for the economy, but also fiscal responsibility?
Well, we're going to be bringing in, already we've brought in over $100 billion. We'll be bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars. And the tariffs really haven't kicked in that much other than automobiles and steel. August 1st is a big day. August 1st is when very substantial money comes into our country. We've made deals with a lot of great places, but we had one yesterday, that was announced. We have another one coming up, maybe with India, I don't know, we're in negotiation. When I send out a letter, that's a deal. In other words, that's a deal. They don't want to ever say that, oh, how many deals have you made? The best deal we can make is to send out a letter. And the letter says that you'll pay 30%, 35%, 25%, 20%, in one case 50%, Brazil, and because what they're doing to their former president is disgraceful. I know the former president, he fought like hell for the people of Brazil, that I can tell you. And I believe he's an honest man. I think what they're doing to him is terrible. So, yeah, we have some pretty good deals to announce, but every time we send out a letter, that's the deal. The big one really is going to be on the 150 countries that we're really not negotiating with, and they're smaller. We don't do much business with them. Because you have a lot of countries, you have over 200 countries, and a lot of people don't know this, but we'll have well over 150 countries that we're just going to send a notice of payment out, and the notice of payment is going to say what the tariff, and it's all going to be the same for everyone, for that group. They don't, they're not big countries, and they don't do that much business. It's not like the ones that we've agreed with, like China, like Japan, where we're negotiating with them, but I think probably we'll live by the letter with Japan. We're very close to a deal with India where they open it up. Indonesia yesterday was It wasn't an open country, now it is. And they have tremendous copper, quality copper, and probably the most copper. And we made a deal with Indonesia. We pay no tariff, zero, and we have total access to trade. That's a phenomenal deal for our companies. And we've agreed with them, as you know, on 19%. They pay 19%. And it's a good deal for them, and it's a good deal for us, so in that case. But we have a number of them coming up. But overall, we're doing well, and we're taking in a lot of money, a lot of money. We have the number one, we have the most oil of any country in the world, even more than them, which is hard to believe. But we have a little larger piece of land, right?
We do, sir.
But
So.
we're number one in the world in oil, and we're drilling, and today it hit $64 a barrel, which is great, and that'll help stop wars, actually. If you want to know the truth, it's going to help stop wars, and we hope to get it down a little bit more. But we have oil down to $2, $2.25, $2.50 in numerous states. We hit one at $1.98 a gallon, and that's a great thing. That's one of the reasons that inflation's in check. When you can do that, you stop the inflation. What Biden did is he ended our policies, went to his policies. He doesn't have a policy. Some lunatic around the desk had a policy. Whoever operated the auto pen had a policy, which is, by the way, I think the biggest scandal. That's the scandal they should be talking about, not Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal you should be talking about is the auto pen, because I think it's the biggest scandal, one of them in American history. So the economy is doing really well, and people are seeing it. Yeah.
Will you ask Attorney General Pam Bondi to release more documents to finally put this controversy to bed?
Yeah, whatever's credible, she can release. If a document is credible, if a document's there that is credible, she can release. I think it's good. But it's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone, and all it is the Republicans. Certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook. And no different than Russia, and all the other hoaxes. They're started by the Democrats, and some Republicans, in this case I was surprised, but they got duped.
But have you talked about it with her about this?
President, first of all, remember your high-ranking officials, whether it's been your FBI director or Pam Bondi, they have made some inconsistent statements in the past. You've had...
Well, I don't know. I can't speak about him, but I can say that Pam Bondi, I really think that she's done very good. She says, I gave you all the credible information, and if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that? I mean, honestly, what more can she do? And we do have bigger problems. We have problems with millions of illegal people that came in here, and they're killers and murderers. We have 11,888 murderers that were allowed into our country by Biden, Sleepy Joe Biden, stupid Joe Biden. He allowed them into our country. And you know what? We got to do something about it. She's got a lot of things she's working on. And, it's very sad that somebody can be waylaid, that just get waylaid, but I think she's doing a great job, personally.
In your Truth Social this morning, you mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now calling...
I lost a lot of faith in certain people, yeah. I lost, because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing. They've done a terrible job. They almost destroyed our country. If I didn't get elected, all these numbers you're hearing about, they found $25 billion and another 25 is coming in, and hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country, and we just got the biggest tax cut in history. We just got the biggest regulation cuts in history. There'll be no tax on tips. There'll be no tax on Social Security. There'll be no tax on overtime. There'll be no tax on so many other things. You're allowed to deduct your interest from a car payment. That's never happened before. You borrow interest. You borrow money to buy a car if the car is made in America. And by the way, factories are being built all over America. Car factories, AI factories. But you get a deduction on your interest. Nobody ever thought of that before. It never happened before. And, these are the things that they should be talking about. The big, beautiful bill is one of the greatest pieces of legislation ever in this country, and the Democrats have nothing to combat it, so they say, oh, it's death, death. Oh, that's good. And then they give it to the fake news, which is you and a few others, and the fake news talks about the bill is death. The bill is actually life. The bill is life, and it saves our country. This bill is incredible. Look at the results already. So we have $16 trillion being invested in our country. And this great gentleman and his family just came in with another billions of dollars. And if he didn't like the country, if he didn't like where we were going, he's very smart. He'd come, maybe he wouldn't even come. I think maybe he wouldn't even come, you'd save your time. But, because, it's one of those things. But if he didn't like where this country was, he wouldn't be investing billions of dollars in this country. But think of it, $16 trillion, more than has ever been even contemplated before. And we haven't even started yet. So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the success. And the Democrats have nothing to show for what they do. They almost destroyed. They allowed 25 million people to come into our country, gang members, jailbirds, from all over the world, not South America, from all over the world. They allowed them to come into our country from mental institutions, insane asylums, just walk right through. They couldn't come into your country. They couldn't come into any country in the world except our country. And they came in from the worst places, gang members, drug dealers. They all came in. Turn it off, please. They all came in. And I'm doing something about it. We have it under check right now. We got rid of a lot of the murderers already. Some of them we put in our prisons because they're so bad we don't want to take a chance in putting them in a foreign prison, have them come back. But we've done a great job. Our country's in great shape. We literally have the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it's true what the king said, what a lot of people said. We were a dead country. 1 year ago, we were a dead country. We were laughed at all over the world. We had Afghanistan with that horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Look what happened with Russia and Ukraine. That should have never happened. Look what happened with Israel. That would have never happened. Hamas had no money. Iran had no money. There was no money to do an attack like that. All these things that happened that wouldn't have happened if you had good leadership. And that's what you should be talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, Judge. It's another day in paradise.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. It's incredible.